The race for the Speaker of the House is growing. It's May 31st, 2024, and these are your headlines. So we're still here at the Texas Homeschool Convention, if you can see behind me or hear any of the noise here. But while we're here, the race for the next Speaker of the Texas House is growing. Stephenville Republican Representative Shelby Slawson has announced she's going to seek the position currently held by Speaker Phelan. She made the announcement yesterday in a letter to the House Republican Caucus, where she wrote, "When we entered the 88th session, I was a supporter of the current Speaker, believing honestly and good faith that we would build productively on prior successes. But then," she said, I am deeply disappointed in the mismanagement by the current Speaker and his inner circle that continually overshadows our wins and puts us at odds with our grassroots supporters, other electeds, and our own members. Last session, I gave too much benefit of the doubt to leadership's power sharing with Democrats and then spent many frustrating hours trying to overcome the obstacles created by their empowering minority members at the expense of the majority. She's talking about the fact that Democrats have, of course, been placed in leadership positions as chairs of powerful committees in the Texas House against the wishes of the Republican Party of Texas, against the wishes of conservative voters. And yet this is a practice that House Speaker Phelan says he will continue if he is elected Speaker again in January. Shelby Slawson, by the way, was one of the members that did not vote for the House's impeachment of Attorney General Ken Paxton last year. She went on to say that the chamber needs a leader that unites Republicans rather than pitting them against constituents. Now, a group of incumbent and incoming members of the Texas House have been calling for a contract with Texas. It's a series of reforms designed to end Democrat influence over the legislative process in the Texas House. Slawson told members she agreed with nearly all of what has been circulated in contract and pledge form and has readily discussed with members in each group the ideas I think are musts and which bear more deliberation. Now, Representative Tom Oliverson, who announced his candidacy for Speaker in March, welcomed Slawson to the race. In a post on X, he said, "I welcome another reformer into the race for Speaker of the Texas House and applaud Shelby Slawson for her honest appraisal of the status quo and optimism for the future." Phelan, of course, has said he will run for re-election for Speaker in 2025 following his narrow victory in the runoff on Tuesday. Texans are reacting to the Trump verdict. A New York jury, of course, yesterday was the big story, has convicted former President Donald Trump on charges that he falsified business records to cover up an alleged affair. Now, Texans have stepped forward to denounce the trial and the verdict immediately. You had people like Governor Greg Abbott wrote, "This was a sham show trial. The kangaroo court will never stand on appeal." Said Americans deserve better than a sitting U.S. president weaponizing our justice system against a political opponent, all to win an election. He said we must fire Joe Biden in November. Dan Patrick, who is the chair of Trump's campaign here in Texas, said that the guilty verdict against President Trump is an absolute travesty of our judicial system, adding that there was no crime and the prosecution's star witness was a convicted liar and an admitted thief. Attorney General Ken Paxton says that from the beginning of the sham trial, he has stood by President Trump and that his support for him is stronger than ever. While Sid Miller, the agriculture commissioner, often called Trump's man in Texas, said it was a deeply disturbing day for our nation, but that he has every faith in the American people and President Trump. This moment will echo through history, and history will not be kind to the perpetrators and cheerleaders of this unparalleled sham.
Why get your news from people who don't share your values? Get news stories from Texas Scorecard. We provide real news for real Texans. Go to TexasScorecard.com today.
Our last story today, human smuggler has been sentenced to 15 years in prison following a jury trial in South Texas. The smuggler, Deshaun Dwayne Griffin, was arrested and indicted last year in Kinney County on 5 counts of human smuggling. The 63rd District Attorney's Office prosecuted the case with a Kinney County jury returning a guilty verdict on Wednesday. Kinney County Attorney Brent Smith told Texas Scorecard that jurors sent a very clear message in their 15-year verdict. The only smuggling the defendant will be able to do now is from inside his prison cell. Kinney County is a border county deluged with illegal smuggling operations as it's nestled between two legal ports of entry in Maverick and Valverde counties. That's where Eagle Pass and Del Rio are. County residents have faced unprecedented chaos from the increased border crossings. In one instance, a human smuggler linked to a cartel drove through 16 properties while attempting to evade Border Patrol. The property owner suffered an estimated $150,000 in damage. There have been over 7 million Border Patrol encounters with illegal aliens since President Joe Biden took office, according to publicly available data, and that doesn't include gotaways. Kinney County officials have asked the governor to call a special legislative session for the purpose of creating a statewide border force to handle border-related crimes. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.